Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our global TV deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
Where am I?
Corruption is a vile disease that sucks and drains the health out of something good. Corruption in society is an evil moral infection that keeps community in the state of perpetual sickness. Corruption is a moral virus. It's so potent, it leaves its host sick, lethargic, and unable to realize and accomplish all that a well person can. Where corruption thrives, poverty and not prosperity thrives. Wealth is grabbed into the greedy, grubby hands of those who get fat on the toil and labor of good people. Corruption benefits, only temporarily, those who participate in it. Everyone else is a victim of the theft, the deceit, the dishonesty, and the lies that corruption feeds on. You need to know that a corrupt person is stealing from you. Corruption is filthy work and despicable acts of treachery done under the table and behind closed doors. Corruption is a disgusting shame. Corruption keeps a nation back from true development and from progress. Wise investors steer clear of a corrupt environment. They would rather put their resources into a place where the playing field of opportunity is equal for all and not bent towards feeding the financial lust of corrupt, lying, cheating, thieving politicians and government officials. How many wonderful development projects have been lost because the investors didn't want to do business in a swamp of evil? When those great projects go to another nation or to some other place, we all lose. Believe me when I tell you that corruption steals from you, it steals from all of us. Corruption plunders the nation's wealth. Corrupt people compromise on truth, equity, and fairness, choosing instead to feed off the short-term benefits of crookedness, exploitation, and financial perversion. Corruption is not just a personal matter, it's a culture. It's a way of life, not just for individual people, but for companies, communities, governments, and nations. Corrupt nations, hiding behind large companies, will seek to invest in other weak nations in order to take over the assets of the nation that they've invested into. They will provide financial loans to a nation for the much-needed infrastructure, and they will do it with assets that they provide. They will sign contracts by lining the pockets of rotten government officials who participate in this kind of corruption and are then held hostage by their own deceit and greed. Corruption is nothing less than a form of theft and national robbery. A corrupt person steals from everyone in society.
Ghetto, run, keep going on, let's process. For children of Israel do really love rights. So just as I and I as a watchman around Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I should never hold thy peace. What wrong is going on? Hey, oh, we gonna bust down Babylon walls. Prepare the way. Prepare the way for your people. Let's go. Fight down war and crime. Fight down. Me say Rastafari. War and crime. And do of righteousness. And we love Jah, and we love Jah, Jah, and we love Jah, Jah, Rastafari, save all people. And we love Jah, we love Jah, Jah, Rastafari, we love Jah, Jah, Rastafari, save all people. Put time away again. Listen, yeah. Just as I and I as a watchman, I run Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I and I should never hold thy peace, while we penalize. Hey, oh, night. We gonna bust down Babylon gates. Prepare the way, prepare the way for Jah Rastafari. Fight down war and fight, fight down war and fight, Rastafari, war and fight, and build up righteousness. And we love Jah, and we love Jah, and we love Jah, Rastafari, preserve all, and we love Jah, Jah. Me love Jah, Jah, Rastafari. Me love Jah, Jah, Rastafari. Preserve all. Me love Jah, Rastafari. Jah, Rastafari.
Do you plan to live in a third world America? Good morning and welcome. We're going back at de-dollarization this morning and the escalation of Donald Trump's burden. We're feeling somewhat sorry for Donald Trump this morning, running all over the globe trying to get help to fight his war, even though he really doesn't need help. He's just testing your loyalty. It's one of the things that narcissists does. They like to test your loyalty. Don't know what they get out of it. Good morning, everyone. To my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls, good morning and welcome one and all. Thank you all for joining us this morning. Wayne Evans, good morning. The unstoppable one, Laverne, Marcia Thomas, good morning. Lynette Jenkins, Violet Watson, good morning. Joan Bailey, Lynette Jenkins, yes, good morning. Monica Wills, Bros, Debbie Jervis TV, good morning, and welcome to you all. Winifred Sanders, good morning. Berna Adams. I'm going to stuck my nose into some social media fracas that I see bustling about the place. And no, it's not what you think. And no, it's not what you think I'm going to say. Certainly not. I'm not going to address either party in the squabble. That's not my business. What I want to address is the viewing audience. Those on social media who regularly fans the fire when such breakaway depend on social media. These are the people I want to address this morning, particularly the females. And I beg you to stay with me here. Share the live, please. My views may be unpopular, but for me, they are my reality. As one who have gone through social media storm, I understand what a social media storm is. So I'm going to address the viewing audience, those in the comment, those who have them say, in particularly on Buju, because it's Buju everybody is going for. Now, I don't business with Buju and Wayne Wonder. Buju is my artist. The world should know that. But what Buju and Wayne Wonder have nothing to do with me. Absolutely nothing. Jackie Walford. It's absolutely nothing to do with me. It's for Buju Banton and Wayne Wonder to fight it out till them done or till them tired. My understanding of this whole thing is not very big, but from an interview that I listened to from the guy at the production label who signed them back then, Wayne Wonder's wife may have misinterpreted an interview and she went off on it. And it became a biff and bam all across the place. Now, especially a lot of the women on social media, I see coming out bashing Buju. Buju is a misogynist. He has no respect for women. It's not that. When we get into a quarrel as human beings, when we get into a dispute, you should not seek respect from the person. By the time you get into a brawl, respect has already gone out the window. If respect was there and within any level of friendship, family, communication, marriage, or whatever, you deal with it to stop it getting out in the public. Once it gets to the public, the whole respect thing. So for a lot of the women who I see coming out say Buju Banton is a misogynist, is it that when you're quarreling with a woman, you must choose your word carefully? That is what I need to understand. Or is it that as a man, when you're quarreling with a woman, you must be prepared to be abused and be silent to the abuse, and then other people are going to come along and justify why you should take the abuse? Those are things I don't agree with. I mean, no business with what they have. But Buju Banton said nasty things. Wayne Wonder wife said nasty things. Have you listened to the allegations coming from Wayne Wonder wife? These are criminal allegations. And then people are going like, Buju Banton must still have respect and manners. That is what I don't get. Now, Jamaica have the worst image on social media. Miranda Raddock, how you do? As Jamaicans, we have the worst image on social media. The worst part of our image portrayed on social media is being portrayed by our women on a day-to-day basis. These are the same women that come in a crowd, come demand respect from men. Where is it in a book that says a woman's mental health is designed differently from a man's mental health? Me no know, me no see no evidence of that. Words hurt whether we are women or men. That's what most people are missing in a dispute of such. Words hurt both sides. And if Wayne Wonder wife cannot choose her word carefully, then why should Buju Banton choose his word carefully? Or if Buju Banton can't choose for him word carefully, why should Wayne Wonder wife choose him word carefully? But you social media people, both you vloggers who are looking number after this dispute, or some of the docile people in the comment, you are all the one who fan these flame when two people have dispute on social media. Half of these wars on social media get out of hand because of very big yard under mango tree, Rona horseback people. Pamela Akola, how are you? Especially since TikTok give you the opportunity, and this is why me not do TikTok anymore. TikTok is not a place for sane people, Lawrence Michael. TikTok is really not a place for people who want to keep their sanity in the way they operate things over there. Because when you're passing through some of these things and you hear some of these Jamaicans sit down in these TikTok panel, pull down people, berate people and talk how them think it go. Not how it going, how them think it go. And everybody have a different view on it. And everybody come up with a reason why they not like Buju, why they not this, why they not that. When Wanda chose not to get in the fracas, his wife is out there just carrying on and on and on. Why should Buju have respect for her? It's two people quarreling. I uncle with mother, with a respect that we there and not challenge that we there. Any woman feel like say them feel march up on a man that way. No, you see this thing called equality, where women fight for all the while. Equality means equality across the board. Equality is not something you pick and choose. I am very confused by these people on social media, in particularly to the women, because women on Jamaica women on social media make Jamaica people look bad. The breakdown in everything in Jamaica contributed to how we teachers become, and when I'm talking about with teachers, we women them, because we women them teach society. We women them groove with mindset. Ask yourself this question, Jamaica women. What have we done? Why crime? What have Jamaican women done or have not done? Why crime get out of control around we so? If these mothers who, when them see these social media brawl, they come out and them take a side and them pull down one side, do you understand that your children who you are giving advice to is seeing this display from you? Me not understand. This is what me say. Me sorry for a lot of the children them who grow up in Jamaica, especially in other social media days, yeah, where sometimes you see some granny come out on TikTok, come turn fool again. I mean, she was fool when she was a teenager. And you still see some granny come out on TikTok, come turn fool all over again. So I don't subscribe to the fact that you must stand up and make a woman abuse you and you're silent to it because she's a woman. No. Women mouth are very nasty. Women play emotional game with words. Men are allowed to do it too. I really don't have a problem with that. Any woman that go walk up on me with words, be prepared for a tirade. I just saw life go. Because otherwise, we're supporting bullyism. Because when you now come out and try to tell Buju is a misogynist, Buju is disrespectful, what is Wayne Wonder's wife? I really don't understand. These people are making counter allegations of each other. They're saying nasty things of each other. If the viewing public sit down and view and come out of these things, say wouldn't carry on in the way how I do. But these women think to say, them can't even talk to their children. This is the thing we're fucking bad at me. And this really angers me. Most of these women who you see come out, come chastise big man, can't talk to them little 10-year-old yard, That angers me. Because I know enough of them. I know enough of them who cannot say to their son. But then they would want to pull another big man in line. You see, that they make me flew off the handle. pop down the zinc, just a burn down the place, so just a burn. Just a get fire and a burn. If we can burn down the whole village at that point, I will literally done. You Jamaican women, you're making Jamaica society worse. Huh? You are the ones who wash the bloody clothes. You are the ones who keep the gun under your pillow, walk with it in your handbag. You are the one who spend the crime money. Jamaica woman, Jamaica problem are because of uno, you know. Don't bother things because of men misogyny. Jamaica breakdown of moral is because of uno women. A lot of Jamaica women are uno the crime protector. Sometimes uno the crime initiator. This is why when you see a problem in a public, uno can't stay neutral or impartial or be justiciable. Uno have to choose one side of the fence and go right up that person's rear end. And then you escape all the things that you, as the spectator, should be assessing. But everybody wants to take a side. Uno get something out of it? No, because uno don't understand. These are the, they happen to me already, you know, so I know how to operate. And when you sit down on social media and see and hear some of the things where people set off you and write about you, where they never even know, talk to you up on the phone. Never mind met you in person. These are the Jamaican women. You are Jamaica's biggest problem. You are our failure. It might sound hurtful and disrespectful, but isn't it the truth though? Uno build with mindset. Men were never there to build society and mindset. It was always uno. And if uno now start engaging in fuckery, women, then the whole society are going to turn out in a fuckery. Like literally. Uno so no behavior on TikTok, one not demand respect from men. Do you see how you all behave over TikTok? There's no, it would be the only person me can find as a Jamaican over TikTok with a ladylike behavior is Fifth Element. Me no know no more. No more. None of these Jamaican women where do the TikTok galang in. Other than Fifth Element, me no see no. Thank you very much, Pamela. Me no see no. Everyone know I run down the money. Everyone know I run down the fame. Everyone know I run down the celebrity status. Everyone know I go more disgraceful and disgraceful because that's what attract audience on TikTok. So when uno come out and a call to Bojo for respect and misogyny, what we wonder why for do? Why you don't come out here, come call we wonder why say control your wife? You not argue about it. Contain your wife. But the wife is coming out here abusing, and then Bojo must be silent to it. Jamaica women, you are Jamaica's biggest problem. Why one don't tell the two guys to go sort it out? They've been, the two of them entertained with for years. I don't have even though Bojo is my artist, I have no problem with Wayne Wonder, and I could never be so stupid to go take side on something when I belong to me, when I know about, when I'm involved in, when I care about. People quarrel every day, friendship break up every day. Want to know how much married people are sleeping in a separate room? Want to know how much married man they on sofa? I don't come out here, come talk about little quarrel and friendship. Want to know how much father and son don't talk? How much mother and daughter don't talk? And not about friendship? Spare me the thought. What all Jamaicans need to do is to build a society. We try to build a society what we can call a spade a spade. we can build a society where we can make peace between warring faction rather than we decide which one of the warring faction is wrong or right. My problem is not who is really wrong or right. My problem is not who's really wrong or right, because me not gonna know, because Buju I go tell lie, Wade Wonder wife I go tell lie. The truth lie in the middle. My problem is all of uno we jump in and I defend Wayne Wonder wife. All of uno we tear down Buju. All I know we say Buju disrespectful to women and Buju is a misogynist. Some I know I get kicked by your man, Is your man a misogynist? Because if I got caught because Buju in a quarrel, it's not like Buju have a platform and Buju just come and use them platform, berate and pull down women, That's how you would go to the misogyny argument when there's absolutely no reason for Buju come out here and carry out an attack on a woman. That's where the misogyny would comes in. How does misogyny get in a dispute? You see, these dunce women, can we even see some bright women that do it too? These dunce women want to abuse men and then hide behind the misogyny thing. It don't work. As something women against, but some of you man kick you and a box your own in the house. Is it misogyny? When a dispute is going on over social media, you must try to be justiciable. Ladybug, oh you do, Randy Wagwan, Ronald. We watch our mothers get beat around by our fathers. We watch our sisters get beat around by the whole of Jamaica is a misogynist society then. If it is that when you're in somebody, when you're in a woman, a quarrel, you have to choose your word carefully or don't answer her, or the word misogyny will apply to you. What you are encouraging is bullyism and abuse. That's why I say somehow, when these social media fracas are going, stay silent. Just watch it and stay silent. Because uno in the comment, uno will come out to come take a side the bill on a platform that get this thing worse. But uno fi know when I use words and when I use them for. Because if Buju hold, if just based on a quarrel and Buju respond, he's a misogynist. Jamaica women regularly get disrespected by men. If Jamaica men, a lot of Jamaica men call to a woman on the street and don't get a good answer, you're going to get disrespected. Is that misogyny? Or wouldn't that be more fitting in the misogyny pool than responding to an altercation? Jamaica people, what we want to do is elevate a conversation out here. Elevate on a conversation. The whole world is on social media. The whole world is watching us. This is not us under the ackee tree or the veranda at home. Them things what we say and do, it's in the whole world. The whole world is watching. Every Jamaican man is a misogynist. Because at one point or another, we tell a woman to fuck off or something, or go this or go that. So in that case, all of us would be misogynists. But you cannot compel people, say, in the flare of anger, you must choose your word carefully. Raymond at the Buju Bantan and Wayne Wonder wife situation may address, but I'm not addressing it from a point of view of taking any sides or whatever. What I'm really addressing is the viewing the viewing audience, those in the comments, and indeed those who are making videos out of it for the viewing numbers. Particularly a lot of the women who are going around calling Buju Banton a misogynist. Because what I notice with women, they like to abuse you and then they hide behind the veil of misogyny, which it don't work. It does not work. When you get to such a public brawl, the misogyny code and the respect code automatically goes out the window. Once two people, friend, family, wife, and husband, girlfriend, but once you see a brawl hits the public like this, the respect and all the other thing what you're looking for is gone out the window. What the viewing public and audience must do is try to make peace when these things happen, or try to stay not neutral. But don't come out here and abuse one side and then you agree with everything, because everybody is celebrating the allegations she make against Buju Banton. But everybody then is beating down Buju Banton response that he's a misogynist. This is what the people use, and this behavior, if portrayed within the home and the community, which I have no doubt it does, this is why our children are out there killing off each other. Because they know they have parents that will defend them. They know they have parents which will not believe a complaint about them. You understand why we're taking so much young people to the cemetery? Because these very Jamaica women who are hiding behind the misogyny veil are the most loose cannon in the social media space. These women advance, mix up, and passa on a day-to-day basis. It's what them do, it's what them live off of. And then when you're a man a quarrel, you must be respected. Come on now, living in the real world. Who never hear respect people in a quarrel? Or the one with a quarrel like uptown people, how dare you? How could you ever do that? You're a moron. We're not from uptown, though, are we? Uptown people, how could you? That's not nice of you. That's very moronic. But we are not from uptown. We're from behind the zinc fence. Take the pan out of the duck not come out of the pan. So one of you do, try and make peace. Try and make peace. Make sure these things be an example for your children. When your children see and make peace in a public, then we'll be more susceptible to that. But if your children see you sit down and egg on bullyism or passa-passaism pan line, children live what they learn. It is sad to say it's the mindset of Jamaican women that elevates crime in our society. It's the mindset of Jamaican women why our young youths are dying. You can't tell me say I go on social media and behave so. You can't tell me say upon social media and behave so. And children live what they learn. If you can't split justice in front of them are go always want to defend their wrong. That's why some of them end up in a prison. That's why some of them end up dead. Because when they could have pulled themselves away out of a situation, they know they have your back. You cannot be on social media. Jamaica women have the word. To me, no. Maybe I would say. But Jamaican women behave worse upon social media than we Jamaican men. It's just what I'm seeing. Behave worse than we. But then when it comes to a dispute, they demand respect. That's the wrong way around. That's never the time to demand respect. And at the same thing with Uno and man as well. Uno meet the man them and accept them for where they is. Then 2-3 years later down the road, Uno want to change them. When Uno meet them, at that time Uno lay out on the cards and put them on the ground so he know where I walk in. But when you meet him and you get used to an attitude and you want to, Uno know see that's how the problem come in. Because you never lay your cards on the table. And then halfway through, you want to lay your card. Get your priority right. The world is watching. We look bad out here. We look bad out here. We're not quarreling in a private again. Let me tell you why I don't like midgets. This may be controversial. I intend to be as controversial and criminal as Donald Trump. You know why? That's the only thing seems to be working in our world these days. Criminality. Maybe that's why people gravitate to it. So, why I don't like midgets? Because midgets always has a way of making a lot of noise so we can look down and see them down there. I mean, if we can see an ant down there, we also can see midgets. That's all I want to say. Now to the petrodollar. Do you prepare to live in a third world America? De-dollarization, the end of the American dollar. Could you believe that the peace president is the president to crush the American economy, to crush the morals of the American army, to crush the defense of the American army, particularly across this very zone on screen here? Do you prepare to live in an America where your currency has no power or very little power anymore? America will now get its real third world status? Or you prepare to live in that country? Or like Joe Kent, you're going to jump off Donald Trump's ship before it sinks? But the truth is, I'm getting sorry for him now. Maybe because I have a passion for older people and mad people. So, because his desperation is becoming so glaring. And I mean, this is why you must not all abuse children. We don't know if you abuse children. Because barring the abuse, Netanyahu wouldn't have drawn you into this war. And not only draw you into the war, you're looking for a reason to come out. And dead Netanyahu, abide with me fast, even tied Netanyahu, is drawing you deep and deeper by striking things where enough is struck, or striking things and not tell you. It won't, given Donald Trump's mental status, I don't think it would be too long before we hear Donald Trump have an open tirade against Netanyahu. Because Donald Trump has now realized that my legacy is dead, though he were never working for one. But he has now realized that the no more war that he promised, the things that he told Zelensky, all of what Donald Trump, you remember when he was battering Zelensky in his chest in the Oval Office? Two of the things he said to Zelensky is turning around now to haunt Donald Trump. One of the things he said to Zelensky, you have no card, you have no card. What did I tell him? Say, if it was not for us, the war would have over in a 24-hour. And then the other thing, he told Zelensky, you're gambling with World War III, said the pedophile president. You're gambling with World War III. These are two of the things, these are the two biggest things bedeviling Donald Trump at the moment. Donald Trump, in his bowing down to Netanyahu, did not expect this war to exist in so many different countries. He expected a sharp, short scratch, which turned out not to be so. Him realized the first day of the war, Opal, suspension, what do you call the word? Detention. Detention, Opal, you're half hour late. Well, go The first day, him lose the war. So him sister on the first day, the war turned out into World War III because by the first day of the war, it spread to 10 countries. So this World War III went tell Zelensky, so Zelensky a gamble with. This is the very thing turning around to haunt him now because him start a World War III where him now go can pull back on or have control over. Because the other things the thing he told Zelensky, which is his biggest problem now, he told Zelensky then, you have no cards. Donald Trump in this card, as well as Benjamin Netanyahu, is left without any cards. All the big cards is being played by Iran. And that's because Iran strategically disabled the American defense system across the region, leaving the Americans blind, deaf, and dumb. Then just take up stone and fling, so don't even know which direction. The Americans, them don't even know what direction them are flinging right now. They're just blind, so. The double talking. If this was a war like Iraq and Afghanistan war with social media wasn't out here, we would believe all these stories that Donald Trump is telling us, though none of them are straight and none of them connect together. Whereas we have won the war, but we still need to win a bit more. We have obliterated everything, the army, the navy, everything obliterated, the defense system, but we see the Iranians fighting back. Now, the biggest part of this war is the economy, the economic stronghold that Iran has in relation to the Strait. When Donald Trump spelled it S-T-R-I-A-T, he spells it S-T-R-I-G-H-T something. Donald Trump just dunce. I don't know what is wrong with narcissist and dunceness, but those two go together. Narcissism and dunceness tend to work together. Now that strait is closed off, yeah, America has now collapsed. Not is collapsing, has collapsed. No matter what you hear Donald Trump attacks it. Because America has still Russia make money, you know. Russia and Iran make money. All you hear them are going. Russia and Iran make money right now. Because the oil was selling at the America. What the Russian them, the Iranian them do. You see, if you want to come through the street, you can't pay for your oil in America dollar. You have to pay that thing in the Chinese yuan. If you pay for it, the countries that are not friendly countries, and if you want to come through, you cannot pay in American dollars. So the longer this goes on, the American dollar is being devalued because it's been overprinted. It's been overprinted, and now the oil we sell in the region, the Americans now get the benefit because all of this is economic war tied together. Take for instance the Chinese within our patch in Jamaica. All of these, any American dollar what the Chinese them accumulate within our patch, it must stay within them or go back to the American system. It's a part of the Chinese or BRICS de-dollarization strategy where all of those money going to China rather than to America, because this deplete the value by the Americans just have to keep printing more and more money and just print themselves out of no value. And this is what's going to happen in this economic debacle where Donald Trump and Netanyahu create. Let me just put the Americans were won so many years of it. Okay. Well, this is the thing why I say if it was mainstream media, Norman, we would believe everything we're hearing now. Because Tulsi Gabbard, I don't know if anyone saw the moron, because these people are becoming more moronic. I don't know if anyone saw the moron in Congress yesterday. What Tulsi Gabbard said on paper, what Tulsi Gabbard said historically in many election campaigns, she's saying a different thing in Congress. You would have thought she would be sensible enough to resign to be in a good position for the next chip round. Everybody in America, Norman, knew that this was going to happen. Even Donald Trump. It's just that Netanyahu didn't care. 9 days before the war, Iran told them if we are attacked, we are what do you call the word? Locked and loaded, and we will attack America's interests across the region. It was said 9 days before the war by the Iranian. It was said. So when Trump come out and I tell we say them never know Iran would respond by. Iran told you 9 days before the war, this is exactly how I would respond. These are the lies. And sadly, America people are swallow it up. But I tell you, where the world have gone, some of these people who are locked in by these politicians, when you wake up and see where we are see. When you wake up one day and see where we are see, my God, when you go crazy, right now, look how we they are crazy. I get a child, just try to get enough to wake up, Fear steady nonsense. We're going. America was always from the minute Donald Trump fired the bomb, they said America start a war, it's gonna lose. You have Tulsi Gabbard should resign. She is a controlled opposition like that. Yeah. Philly Wagwan. Up to yesterday, man, they said Tulsi Gabbard and JD Vance is in their best political position right now. Tulsi Gabbard and JD Vance is in their best political position right now strategically. Althea. One, Vance can deploy the 25th Amendment against Donald Trump. You know the powerful position that would put Vance in the 2028 runoff. Very powerful position. Tulsi Gabbard, on the other hand, if she steps aside now, very powerful because she has run 2 good campaigns already. And to stand up against the pedophile, the narcissist, the histrionic criminal of a president will put her in a good position that we may see the first female president in America. But all of these people are held ransom by the Zionist pigs. This is a money and secrecy play. Netanyahu secure crimes against children, against the whole Karen Wagwan. Well, me tell you what I have in my tea this morning. A seasoned tea may I have this morning. Garlic, black pepper, pimento, and chili pepper. That's what I'm having for tea this morning. So this morning, a seasoned tea. Me depan. Donald Trump knew, the intelligence knew, even any idiot out here knew that this was going to happen. No one a super tea, seasoned tea. For years, even though you hear Donald Trump, them might use this chant to help support their war. Since the whole Palestine and everything, and since the invasion of Iran in the 50s, and when the Americans supported Saddam to fight against Iran in the 80s, they always have a mantra: debt to Israel, debt to America. It's chanted every day. Them chant it in a prayer, them chant it out of prayer. That's no reason to bomb anyone. Because Israel bomb people every day, and Israel now say debt to this and debt to that. Legitimately, it is a justiciable thing to say, given their relationship with Israel and America. Those are not any reason to go to war, though. And these are the things that's really, really bringing America down. Because the excuse what them a walk and make, the war is not justified. And I've heard 1,000,001 reasons now why they gone to war with Iran. Iran has always been telling Israel and America, the day you challenge us, Israel will burn. And anybody can go back and check that. Iran has always, from I've been following this thing, Iran has always been telling Israel and America, the day you attack us, we will burn Israel. So don't be surprised that Israel is under fire now. Don't be surprised that Benjamin Netanyahu, his son and brother, might be dead and they're hiding it. Don't be disappointed that after this war, the state of Israel of Pig'Israel, or it's not really, will not exist in the form that it existed, and rightly so. A lot of us would like the state of Israel been razed to the ground. I mean, that you can crepe it up in your hand like San Andreas, so few. Yeah, that's what a lot of us would want to see. Because that's how Gaza looks. But this war, though, doesn't remain where it is. Because I don't know if you're following the escalation where the Israeli have gone and attacked the Iranian oil facility, which that wasn't the plan in the war. Because if they start to attack Iran oil facilities, all of the oil facilities across the Gulf country that the American currency depend on will be gone. That's a worse depletion for an already dying US dollar. Because the US dollar that was based on the sale of petrol. Petrol now sell in America dollar anymore, and say everything in the region will pop up America economy, and these little white frock boys in the region So them a Prince King and that. These little white frock boys in the region. All of them something they know. All of them saying they're done for. Because now that this level of war starts, and I think Iran checking feet about 5 in arcs. Because what the Iranian, regardless of when see the American them with it and the Israeli with the carpet bombing, to just kill civilians. So the Iranians ask those countries that they are going to attack their oil facility to evacuate because they don't want to take any lives. They just want to mash up the facility. Whereas, if you notice with Israel, right in the heart of Beirut capital, and the Israeli, when they're striking a building, they strike the building at the root. That means the entire building collapse. Isn't it the same way, though, Israel, that the World Trade Center collapses? I don't know. Hey, if the plane could fly in the very upper part of the center, and then the whole thing just collapsed. These bombs that Israel are firing to the base of these buildings in Iran and Lebanon does have similarities to how the World Trade Center fall, isn't it? This have consequences for us, my people. Wanna notice how island gas, I think oil went up by 6%. Crude oil, I think, went up by 6%. Gas, or whatsoever you call it, went up by 30% after those attacks on both sides of the fence. Israel attacked Iran oil facility. Iran now is attacking about 5 oil facilities in about 5 of the Gulf countries. So this thing is getting out of control. Donald Trump at this time, he would want to have this war being pulled under control. Netanyahu, on the other hand, though, is escalating it because these weren't meant to be areas that you go after. The critical infrastructure, you weren't meant to go after that, at least not now. But whenever time Israel is on the back foot, this is the behavior you get from them. Outright lawlessness. But when we can tell us Benjamin Netanyahu dead now, we want to sing, abide with me, fast by the evening tide. When we can tell we want to celebrate the death of Benjamin Netanyahu. If you think the death of Margaret Thatcher was a celebration in this country, you're going to have to roll up in Britain when Benjamin Netanyahu dead, because we'll be on the street with Palestinian flag, Iranian flag. We'll be having a job.
Trump says he wasn't aware.
We will be having a damn well jolly good old time celebrating the end of misery. Because you see, this, what is happening in that region, was the last tier of apartheid that we ought to have broken. And you have a pedophile who want to colonize the rest of the world right now. Venezuela, Cuba, Iran, and other. No, Israel must be flattened. We want to pick up Israel in a handful of sand. Like literally just like that.
Of the Israeli strike on Iran's gas field. In a post on social media, the president says the US knew nothing about the attack on South Pars and that Qatar was not involved. He also says Iran didn't know that and so unjustifiably and unfairly attacked Qatari gas facilities, while promising Israel will carry out no further attacks on the extremely important and valuable South Pars.
Trump cannot say that. Donald Trump you cannot say that. You have absolutely no control over Benjamin Netanyahu. Where the Epstein file leads Donald Trump, you, my son, will only have to follow. Wherever the Epstein file leads, that's where Donald Trump follow. Boy, I give Israel order and can't do this. No, you cannot. You cannot. You are the prime minister for America, while Benjamin Netanyahu is the American president, even though in your words, it's Gavin what's-the-scum.
Field unless Iran decides to attack what Trump describes as a very innocent Qatar. It goes further, threatening to blow up the entire South Pars gas field if Iran does target it again. Well, the field is the largest in the world and is shared by Iran and Qatar. Samir Puri is a visiting lecturer in war studies at King's College London. He joins us from the British capital. Samir, I want to break down forensically, if we can, that Trump's Truth social post. The United States apparently knew nothing about this particular attack on the country of Qatar, was in no way, shape or form involved with it, nor did it have any idea that it was going to happen, says Trump. I mean, asserting there that the US knew nothing about the Israeli attack on South Pars, even though Samir, multiple intelligence sources and reports.
But this is then saying Israel and America is no longer working together. Israel are fighting own war. Israel draw America in a war. And then now Israel are fighting own war and America left out the son of the problem. Miracle, how you get your son? We know you're all a bunch of pedophiles, and that's why this is happening.
From the Associated Press, Reuters, Times of Israel, others indicate that Israel notified the US in advance, even if Washington opted to not participate. Claiming total ignorance, what does that suggest to you?
It's a really good question, because the only thing we can conclude from Trump's statement is the US is distancing itself from this attack. We can't conclude the US knew nothing about it at all. And this is a really important statement, and it's come at a really critical moment in this war, because until now, the US and Israel have been moving in lockstep in terms of their coordinated military campaign against Iran. This is the first major divergence, and it's a very big public divergence, no matter whether the US did or didn't know about this Israeli attack. It is a big divergence, and it means that the US is in a strange position of effectively trying to de-escalate one element of this conflict between Israel and Iran, and saying, we're going to be sort of responsible here, but we are threatening, of course, in the rest of the statement goes on to deliver a big threat.
Let's talk about those shortly, but let's bring up that Truth Social post again for our viewers, because Trump describes the hit as a relatively small section, although any strike in this zone is being perceived by Iran as, essentially an existential threat to its primary revenue source. I mean, was this an intended or unintended provocation? Who does it serve?
Well, based on the way Israel has presented this conflict and approached it from causing as much damage to Iran as it possibly can, to forestall some sort of regime change, to bring about regime change, there is, I think, every intention from Israel to have caused this sort of damage. But whether the consequences have then been thought through, because it's not Israel that then bears the costs of direct retaliation. Of course, Qatar has borne the direct costs of retaliation in terms of Iran's targeting of the Qatari gas facility. So that is, I think, the problem here, is that Israel and the US have got slightly different priorities in this conflict. And I think those priorities are starting to come into the open a bit more.
Yeah, the TV option don't allow you to comment. The same way when I watch on a projector, and if I want to comment, I have to come off and go on my phone and go comment. So I hope one day they might develop that the thing better. That's when you watch on TV or projector or so, and you can comment
with this public divergence, specifically because at the end of the day, the US does need to guarantee security for the Gulf and the Gulf states. That's the role it's played for decades. But Israel probably isn't that bothered about the retaliation being suffered in the Gulf states, or certainly not to the same extent.
Samir, we're going to go to that bit in bold, the bit Donald Trump definitely wants you to see. No more attacks will be made by Israel. I mean, the way this is constructed, suggests the US has absolute command over Israeli military decisions. However, earlier he talked of Israel violently lashing out in anger. I mean, can the US really guarantee future restraint from Israel?
No, they can't.
Okay, this is of course delivered in Donald Trump's characteristic capital letters, which is how he always wants to make his point really land when he delivers these posts. Whatever has happened behind the scenes, whether the US knew or did not know about this specific Israeli sort of targeting of the South Pars field, the US is going to pull rank over Israel now in terms of their military coalition. It's clearly the case that, of course, Israel could launch an attack on Iran, but it could never launch an attack of this scale without America. Netanyahu's big triumph has been to get Donald Trump to get the US military to join the Israeli military in attacking Iran. But I think this is going to result in some sort of pulling of rank, the Americans telling the Israelis, maybe at the military level as well as the political level. That's the other thing, Neve. It's important to remember that some targeting decisions may not necessarily go through the top desk of a president. They may be determined by the military commanders who are coordinating these operations. But I think this is a very clear statement that the US does not want Israel to target that gas field, therefore inviting the retaliation that Iran has delivered.
On that point then, Samir, I mean, Trump then caveats what he's written so far, saying that the US will handle the massive destruction of the South Par gas field if Iran hits Qatar, providing Israel stays quiet for now. So this is the confusing bit. While attempting to de-escalate, apparently, he ends up doing completely the opposite. I mean, does that invite more Israeli adventurism?
No, that's just how Trump
Really good point, mate.
You have to double talk.
There's a phrase of escalate to de-escalate, which means you either deliver or threaten severe consequences to try to really show an adversary how serious you are, to dissuade them from taking actions again. We just, again, this is deeply unpredictable in terms of where this conflict is going to go. Israel is probably well advised to show restraint if it wants to keep America on board in what is largely its war against Iran. Because, of course, if there's severe discontent in the US, and there's already signs of discontent in other things with the counterterrorism chief resigning and a few other developments, that actually US political will to sustain its participation in this war with Israel is not a given, it's not a guarantee. So I think Israel will certainly, I think, conclude that it's probably better for Israel to not launch another attack like this than to risk the US falling away due to loss of political will in this war.
Very lastly, Samir, I mean, the fact that Trump wrote this at all, you can almost sense Qatar's frustration behind this message. It's being reported that Qatar got on the phone to the Americans to ask whether CENTCOM and other senior officials had prior knowledge of this strike. At the end of the day, what does that say to you about the potential channels of communications between Gulf countries and the White House right now? Is the Trump administration listening, reacting?
Do you know, I think what it says is that countries like Qatar potentially have quite a lot of growing influence. Obviously, it's an obvious point. Qatar's economy depends very heavily on LNG, and the world economy depends on that export. But I think the Qataris and other Gulf states delivering this message that, no matter what the disagreements with Iran have been, ultimately some sort of stability in the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman is the only possible credible end state from this conflict. And I think it's really now a question of how you get back to that level of stability. Of course, it could be weeks, it could be months. It could even be years, potentially, given the severity of this conflict. But I think that message about controlling the level of escalation in this conflict and eventually a message of some sort of vision of some sort of stable end state is going to be extremely important. And I think a larger diversity of voices delivering that message to the White House is going to be an important feature of how this conflict develops.
All right, Samir, I really appreciate you indulging us and really getting into the weeds here. Clearly, in times of war, words, particularly from Donald Trump, matter a lot. Samir Puri, visiting lecturer in Worcester.
Right. We will now turn our attention to our shithole country of Jamaica. There's three news stories I want to look at. One where JDF Coast Guard received 4 high-speed Inceptor vessels. Take what we nurse and we doctor them, and them provide we with security vessel. I wonder if Andrew Holness I wonder what kind of deal Andrew Holness said, how long, may I ask you, say, when Pete Hagshit under secretary come to Jamaica, what was that about? Because we know the investor was in the mix from about 2023, I believe. But coincidentally, the same time we lose when nurses and doctors, we get speedboat. What it is about, we don't know if we're not going to join Cuba in a war, if we're not going to join America in a war against Cuba, or Donald Trump are going to help, are going to use UNO to help kill off Caribbean people in the waters. Me no know. And the reason why me ask the question, if the speedboat them are going to really matter for we, because we remember say while one container drop off a ship, I know they hear about it, I know send out Coast Guard and speedboat, the container managed to dilly-dally and zigzag and drift round, and come park himself right on the shore of Helsha. Yeah. Only if you believe fuckery though, you would have believed say same thing goes on. So we want to know about Andrew Holness and them speedboat there. See, the American them are going to give Andrew Holness new ministry in our country, and what's it or rather ever else that will come with that. What's it or rather ever else will come with that. Jamaicans, we need to ask more questions. All right? We need to ask more questions in our society. Now, the PM and NIDS. NIDES NIDS. Yeah. We don't notice say Andrew is trying to wrap NIDS in everything. NIDS coming like banga. You don't know banga? We don't know how to call them in a phone area. But in a few water areas of Central, we call them banga. So little fish about your fingernail size. And you can catch them like in a sieve. And then you parch them and wrap them up with bami and eat them. We call banga cheap fish, but no man live with banga them. But banga no fish we sell, man. Yes, we a lot of us don't really know what is going on in our country. Wanna call them banga Mary? So banga used to sweet fish. We can parch them or you can fry them. So the Prime Minister wrap up everything in a needs like a banga in our country. Because here them can't tell we are now say 23 post office to be upgraded under NIDS project. If another constant pull, what the Prime Minister pull wool over with eye, because what them go, why I feel so the government are going to start though. You see, any farmer idea and so on you need to replace, them are going to do them best to get your upon the needs. No mess with small fish and you eat it with. Yes, you just wrap your baby, wrap them up in the bami and eat them. Just like how you don't wrap up sprat in your hardwood bread. You know when you fry sprat, you can wrap them up in your hardwood bread and eat them and the bone don't trouble you. Once you fry them dry enough, you just wrap them in your hardwood bread. It's a way of pushing needs on the people, because once them roll the out of post office, what the post office them are go upgrades in relation to needs for, and if needs, if them now go use it for enhance them needs rolled out, like if you need to do this or that, might as well you just take the needs, because we not use, we don't have access to the old system where we used to use, do these ID and them thing they not anymore. Isn't that what you think the government is gonna be telling us? Because every little thing the prime minister try to push power. Banga debit, they are some little tiny fish. One sprat would make about 10, 15 banga. Banga very, very little. Banga and tadpole normally swim together. You find them in a lot of fresh water. Yeah, you must find them in a fresh water. Banga and tadpoles tend to swim together. So this needs it's going to be enforced on us. Otherwise, them would not incorporate anything in our post office. So some of these services, when you lose your ID, this may be a way for the government tell you, say, we're not using the old system anymore, so we cannot create those ID that you were used to. It's the NID system now. I'm just thinking that this is how the government plan to stitch way up after them never get it them way after the court slap them back. No. This Mr. What's you might call him. No, criminals, people who commit offenses, some of them can be rehabilitated. If you look at the rate of reoffending in some countries, especially like the United Kingdom, you would really say this reoffending thing, this rehabilitation thing really doesn't work. But what should retired Brigadier Mason be calling for? Should he be calling for rehabilitation of sex offenders, or should he rather be calling for the disclosure of the sex offenders register? Because a lot of these people with deep-seated sexual deviance cannot be reformed. If you just look at the history of those in the United Kingdom here, these people cannot be reformed. So allowing people to know who they are, where they live, and when they come into your community, I think that's where we should be going, rather than say rehabilitating them. And everybody can rehabilitate. No, Ladybug, it is not illegal. It's okay as an ID. It is to have as an ID legally, it's all right. Where the court struck it down is where in the law, the government, in the bill that they brought to Parliament then, there was a clause that any government service you need to access, you need to provide your needs. That's the part of it that's illegal. If it was just a voluntary ID that you can, or even if that part wasn't there, even if it was mandatory, but it didn't prevent you the access from government service, because what that would do, it would have stopped you from getting your birth paper, it would have stopped you from getting your passport, it would have stopped you from getting your driver's license, all of them something there. So that particular bit was what the court pushed back on. But the government can still implement it as an ID. What they cannot do is make it mandatory. But it's still okay if people want to accept needs, it's up to them if they want to accept it, but the government cannot enforce it up on you. I think Brigadier rather should be calling for the release of the sex offenders register. Even if you're going to rehabilitate these people, we still need to know if they're living in our community or they live next door to us, if our children are safe. I think Brigadier is very much misguided on this. I mean, if a Delroy Chuck sending out to shut down the argument, we tell Delroy Chuck that we want to see the sex offenders register. We want to see how much politician, how much of the Epstein class in our country, Brigadier Mason. Brigadier Mason, we want to see how much of the Epstein class in our country involved in that. And for those of you who don't know Banga, hold on, let me pull up Banga on the screen. I'll put up a few Banga on the screen for him. But Banga and tadpole swim together. You will find them together in a fresh water. But to catch Banga, you have to use sieve or strainer. And a fish them where you can catch in the normal conventional ways of fishing. They're so small. You have to use strainer or sieve to catch them. Hang on, hang on. You see them? There's some very little fish. And they swim around in our freshwater like tadpole. And they swim around in a whole school. You know, it's a fish group up in a school. And all you have to do is just set a sieve or a trainer, drop a couple bit of crumbs, and then just crowd up and you just lift up your sieve or your strainer, and you catch a whole heap of Banga. Murder she wrote. Tiki man. Oh, wanna call them tiki. We don't wanna call we don't call them we call them Banga. So you can fry them, you can parch them. Just parch them with salt and black pepper. Murder she wrote. I go conquer about my business. Mr. Sun so nice. The sun nice out there today, but the weather not nice. Yesterday we literally had summer. We're coming in from the cold. We soon can take off everything. Yesterday we had up to 17, 18 degree brilliant sunshine. The sun very shine today, but so hot. Today is about 14, 15. But still good weather where we can act like a summer. Them. They can go up on scale if you put all heap of them. But I know something them will really sell. And something them where you can just go river maros go catch. Them the river maros enough. Banga the river or maros enough. You can just go river maros go catch them. They always there. Just go there with a couple of breadcrumbs and drop in the water and you just see the whole of them crowd up. That's why I said you wrap it in a bami. That's what I say when you part them, you wrap it in a bami or you wrap it in a hardware bread. You can't I know same to where you can eat like a normal fish. You have to wrap it in a bami or hardware bread when you eat them. Crayfish we used to catch. Not Banga. We catch both fake crayfish and Banga. We have both crayfish and Banga in our zone. Tiki. Also, quite a few people call them tiki. This is the thing with Jamaica. We have so many different way of calling things. Because the mango where everybody in Jamaica call blackie, we are parrot here in a sentence but call it green skin. There's a fish where a lot of Jamaica broad fish. We call it panga. When you cut panga belly, panga stink like an inside hog. But it's a very nice fish to steam. We call it panga. A lot of Jamaicans call it pot cover. Some of the name what we have for fish in a St. Elizabeth, other people call them different name. We call them gully fish. They are pets. A lot of people eat them. They can eat as delicacies. A lot of people eat them as delicacies, master. Anyway, my peeps, may I go to the road, go get some government weather you know. Because I notice too, Prince Charles want to keep we happy. Because I know say when we depressed, we arrogant. So to want to keep we happy. Prince Charles just stop turn up the good weather for distract Fanny in disgrace. But Prince Charles, we know say the whole family has always been a disgrace. Ask your mama, how your mama teach you know. Ask your granduncle Prince Charles, how your granduncle teach you. Remember when your mama and your papa do the on the road that walk and abuse people, children. Uncle Dickie Mountbatten was there abusing you and Andrew. And then Jimmy Savile come in and start abuse, you know. And then Ghislaine Maxwell father come in and start and even continue the abuse. So Charles, we not forget. Not to because and say. Not to because it's on a killer picnic. No members, no go on like I said, we no members on a rape picnic. You understand? Don't go on like I saw. Angela said them call it Blackie. Blackie call it green skin. Blackie, we call it green. Okay, we not call Blackie green skin. Okay, yeah, green skin, we call it a St. Elizabeth as well. But when we used to live at Old Harbor, a Blackie it name. And other people across Jamaica call it Blackie. Also, Sharon Bernard, turn up. Sharon Bernard, Wagwan. Wagwan, how you do? When a fall that a bait. When you say a bait them use it as a fall. Well, we as St. Elizabeth, as shrimp we use as bait because we have a thing what we call dragnet. Me don't know what you da call it. Say for instance, you tie on two. Say for instance, just imagine the size of a sheet are bigger, but it's the net, and you have two pole at both end, and both of you going I see, and you walk a distance with it till come ashore, and then mostly shrimps, a very few fish people used to catch in a dragnet. It was mostly swims. So the little tiny swims them now, that's what the fishermen them used to use as them bait. But we had such a vast access to the sea, for even though we have a river, but we did more deal with the sea part of things. So that's why our bait were swims rather than banga, because most of our fishing were in the sea rather than river. When it East Indian mango tree them gone. This I bet you had the dirty skettle medicine. I mean, no, because the nasty old miserable mama never had a chant, you see. There's certain thing the old mash up mama burial never had a chant to lift up. But this year, Variego Melissa, she just walk with power saw, axe, machete, you name it. Anything where Melissa couldn't walk with for revenge, the people of Jamaica, for complete. Now, Melissa and Beryl coming like Bush 1 and Bush 2. You remember say Bush one start the Iraq war and Bush two come finish it disgraceful that it do it turn out. But I go about my business now. We don't make son done palm me out a road today. Hmm? We don't make son done palm me out a road. And me not get liquor at the plastic bag sun. We're out there. Well, ladybug them attack and a go on, some part of the community get back electricity already, like here we call Byberry, I think, Spice Grove, Little Bridge, Hilltop. But along the coastline, what we call Windad and Lowered, and in the community where my mother house is Springfield. I don't know if it come back. They say Karen Springfield get back yet, but they're working their way down. Those community that I refer to, those community are on the higher part away from the coastline. So they're working their way down to the coastline now, which is Windad and Lowered. So it's going to be challenging for some people because that's where a lot of the houses severely damaged or completely damaged. There's about 20 houses along the coastline that was completely demolished, and almost everything else was severely damaged. Possibly about 90% or whenever flattened were severely affected. So even when electricity comes back to the community, it will be a challenge for a lot of people because one, them house gone, or two, there's some of them gonna have to possibly do rewiring. There's so much to be done. I mean, our coastline, I don't know if we'll ever come back to. I don't think so, because you see, the thing is with us on the coastline there, what built us decades ago, the fishing industry, that's like no more. They have depleted that so much to the point where our economy livelihood is hugely depleted, but for Pelican Bar. But what the problem is now with a lot of the people in the community who does boat tour, because their boat and engine were so severely damaged during Melissa, even though the Pelican Bar is reopened, those people cannot yet tap into that resources of the tourism dollar to help build back themselves. So we've got quite a way to go in parity. I mean, an awful way. Now, if we had an MP that were looking out for us and helping us out, things would have been a bit better. Because things like what Dayton Campbell and Nikita Burchell was doing in the early part in your sponsor, put out the appeal for sponsor people at home. I see Floyd Green is coming into the stream late now. Maybe if Floyd Green had done that earlier, parity wouldn't get a bit more help, because Westmoreland lose a lot more houses than parity, because along the coast, most of the severe damages we have to the structural damage to the houses that we have is along the coastline. Those away from the coastline were mainly roof damages. but those along the stretch of the coastline, a lot of them were severely damaged. And maybe in the heat of everything, when the attention was on us, if we had an MP like Floyd Green who rallied around the people and put out those appeals, maybe people would have gotten better help. I think what it was for parity, we got the attention, but we didn't have any political coordination on the ground, neither good community coordination. So I think because of that, we have missed out on help that we could get in the earlier part. Anyway, one boy your business now. Hold on. That call. Oh no! Oh, the trawler. Yeah, we don't call it trawler, but we call it dragnet. It's the same thing though. Yeah, the dragnet and the trawler is the same thing. Hold on there. Hurricane, a snake, foundation of the house. I think Flight Green coming to help now is a bit late because there are a lot of people who was passionate about in the diaspora and across Jamaica that was passionate about assisting people. Parity got the attention. What they didn't have was coordination. Given that we were so terribly hit, we were covered underwater. You cannot tell party people say there wasn't an earthquake, a storm, and a tornado all in one, you know. You just cannot tell party people. A lot of party people are thinking. And the amount of structural damage we have to the houses, some earthquake, and not just the houses, the structural damage to the land as well. Earthquake, no. I don't think we have a recent one open. I think we have one last week. Last week we did 3.9. About a week or two before we did get the 5.6, I think. But in relation to Melissa, we just thought an earthquake came with Melissa. The structural damage to the community as well as the houses. Anyway, my peeps, thank you very much for being here this morning. Lovely to have your support as always. Please do join us back this evening for the people's point of view when we look at whatever is developing and bustling in the space. And if you're a globalist, always be fair in the social media space. When a bustle and a fracas is out there, your job is not to take side and demonize one side. If you cannot get both sides of the story, stay neutral in it, because the more neutral and silent people stay, the easier for the dispute to fizzle out and go away. Thank you. Good morning and good afternoon from Global TV.
Too long in our little ghetto, run keep going on, less process. For children of Israel do really love rights. So that's why I as a watchman around Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I should never hold thy peace. What wrong is going on? Hey, oh, we gotta bust down Babylon walls. Prepare and read the way. Prepare and read the way for your people. Let's go. Fight down, war and crime. Fight down, Nixon Rastafari. War and crime and do the righteousness. And we love And we love Jaja.
Jah Rastafari.
And we love Jaja.
Jah Rastafari. Save all people.
And we love Jaja. We love Jaja.
Jah Rastafari.
We love Jaja.
Jah Rastafari. Save all people.
Put time away again. Listen, yeah. Just as I and I as a watchman, I run Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I should never hold thy peace, but we penalize day or night. We gonna bust down Babylon gates. Prepare the way, for Jah Rastafari. Fight down war and fight,
Fight down war and fight.
Rastafari, war and crime, and build up righteousness. And we love Jah, and we love Jah, and we love Jah.
It looks like a lot of Jamaica have weather. I've been there, you know, so the weather not cool 2 times down there.
Me love Jah, me love Jah,
Jah Rastafari. Preserve all.
me love Jah,
Jah Rastafari.
Jah Rastafari.
Jah Rastafari.
Yeah, the next song is going to be the last song for tonight.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action. So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.